Hello YouTube, my name is Fag. Welcome to my channel. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And here we go. The top 10 greatest games for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, according to fans. And this is by Gaming the System. Oh, here we go.
Here are the top 10 Super Nintendo games of all time, according to fans of the SNES. Number 10 is Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. Yoshi became a popular character after premiering in the first Super Mario World, so Nintendo decided to make a game centered around him. They took liberties with the typical Mario formula, removing the time limits and making the game more exploration-centered. They also gave the graphics their own style. A lot of the scenery looks like it was drawn with a crayon, and there's little faces on everything. Yes, it looks like it's done for kids, and the crying babies hammer that home even more. But what they ended up with is a game that people enjoy playing, and it was so successful they continued to make other Yoshi-centered games as time went on.
Now, how many of you all played this game and enjoyed it? I haven't played it personally. I would like to, but that involves trying to get a hold of another Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Mine unfortunately got lost a long time ago. Oh. But those look like fun. If you guys have any insights, let me know.
Number 9 is Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars. We may take this for granted today, but there was a time when we didn't know what a 3D Mario game would look like. This game was...
Now, I enjoyed this game. Playing Super Mario as an RPG, that was a pretty neat concept, and I did enjoy that.
When we got our first taste of it. It didn't really play like a Mario game, of course, because it's an RPG. From what I've read, for many youngsters, this was their first RPG ever. It happens to be a great one to start on because the game does a good job of easing you in to all the complexities. But it's not as complex as a typical JRPG. You have to collect 7 star pieces, which are scattered around the landscape. As you bump into enemies, you go into battle mode, which is based mostly on strategy, but it also involves your reflexes. People like that it has the same charm as the Mario games before it, and it's loaded with humor. In case you're wondering, here's how it came up with this list. I combed through message boards, YouTube videos, and YouTube comment sections looking for people who have made their own personal top 10 lists for the Super Nintendo. I ended up finding 156 of them, and then I essentially just averaged them all together, and that's how I came up with the top 10 in this video. My own personal opinion had nothing to do with the final rankings. All I'm doing here is relaying the opinions of those 156 people. Gathering all this data took me about 6 hours.
Yeah, he did his research. That's neat. I like that.
Number 8 is Earthbound. Known as Mother 2 in Japan, this bizarre RPG didn't sell well in America, and that lack of success is one of the reasons it wasn't released in Europe. Americans simply didn't, quote, get it back then, but in the decades since, a collective reckoning has happened, and now the game has achieved high notoriety and ends up being on a lot of top 10 lists for the Super Nintendo. Why? Because it's seen as a major break from the traditional RPG formula of the time. Instead of being a hero who carries a sword in an old-style world, you're a 1990s kid who carries a baseball bat, walking around a land that is a parody of America. Bizarre is the key word here.
Now, I've never played this one personally, so I have to take your word for it. Let me know what you guys think. If you've ever played this game, or seen somebody that has, I'd be interested enough if it's worth giving it a try sometime.
The monsters you fight are beyond description, but some of their names are Cranky Lady, New Age Retro Hippie, Territorial Oak, Urban Zombie, Criminal Caterpillar, Mad Taxi, Scalding Coffee Cup, and Stinky Ghost. So yeah, the game is
Wow.
silly, and it's understandable why it's so memorable.
That sounds silly. Maybe that'd be interesting to play.
Number 7 is Mega Man X. The early Mega Man games on the NES followed a strict style and formula, but the makers of this game decided it was time to shake things up with a new
Mega
graphic
Man. Who remembers Mega Man X and who enjoyed it like I did? Huh? Come on, guys, you know you did.
style, a more intricate level design, a faster pace, new moves, and a new villain. It was risky to do such a redesign to a beloved series, but gamers ended up loving it, and Mega Man X became a series of its own. Even with all the changes, it still kept the core concept of choosing your own order of the stages and defeating bosses at the end of each one in order to take their abilities. Of course, like the other games on this list, it
Now, another thing can be said about this game, it was like a slow version of Sonic. A lot of people back in the day compared Mega Man X to the Sonic games, calling it a slow version of the Sega hit. You guys agree or disagree with that? Let me know.
excels with the basic fundamentals of music, gameplay, and graphics. Number 6 is Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Kong Quest. The Donkey Kong Country series
Oh yeah, I love the Donkey Kong series. First one was innovative for the time, and the second one kind of carried through with it. Hey pal, how's it going? Right. I can understand that. Just kind of showing my age, I guess. I'm doing good, thank you. Thanks for staying out with me today, I enjoy it.
pushed the Super Nintendo to its graphical limits, and that was due to a technique which took pre-rendered 3D objects and dumped them into a 2D game. All three games are highly regarded, but the second one is generally considered to be the best. When compared to the original, people say it has better collision detection, more variety between the different stages, and it's widely regarded as having the best level design of the three games as well. This time around, Donkey Kong is not one of the two playable characters because he has been kidnapped. Instead, he's been replaced by Dixie Kong, who uses her hair to glide.
Introduction to Dixie Kong.
Number 5 is Final Fantasy III, which is
Ah, now this one. Oh my god, I played this game through I don't know how many times. This was probably my favorite before Final Fantasy VII came out. I absolutely love this game.
is actually Final Fantasy VI. When researching what people like about this game, I came across a plethora of personal stories, which include statements like, "This game saved my life," or "This game got me through a depression," or "This was the first game to make me cry." So it goes without saying that Final Fantasy VI had a major effect on people when it came out. One of the many things it has going for it is that you accumulate 14 playable characters, and each one of those has a major backstory, and each one functions drastically different during battles, and each one can be customized in different ways. And there are major events that happen as you play through the game, the kind that can be ingrained in your memories. So it is just a monumental game. Number 4 is
What we got?
Rise of the Robots.
I don't know this one. Besides the fact it looks like a robot fighting game.
I'm just kidding, that is not number 4. Number 4 is actually Super Metroid. Normally, when I'm writing these little
Metroid.
game summaries,
Ah, that's better. I don't know what to say. You got us.
I try to paraphrase what others have said about these games over the years. I'm not doing that for this game though, because I am an unapologetic Metroid fanboy. So these words are straight from me. Super Metroid and Castlevania Symphony of the Night make up the axis of the Metroidvania genre. Those two games were not the first to have that kind of play style, but they did popularize it. And the main draw of these types of games is that you start off weak and you become very powerful as you find more and more items within the platforming world.
True.
Beyond that,
Very true.
Super Metroid just takes everything that made the first Metroid game on the NES good and turns it up to a 10. It has an eerie atmosphere, well-hidden secrets, and some of the most perfect controls that you can have.
There we go.
Number 3 is
Oh, yeah.
Chrono Trigger.
Ah, there we go. This one. Woo. At least towards the end of it, I got kind of lost in where I was supposed to go, and I got stuck for a while. But it is a fun game. To travel around between time, that's why it's called Chrono Trigger. It was a fun play. You ever get a chance, try to give it a try.
Saw someone on Reddit who said that they have a copy of Chrono Trigger for the SNES, but they don't even have an SNES. They just want to have the game because they have so many loving memories tied to it. That pretty much summarizes the lasting impact this game has had on people. So how does it create a lasting impact? By having a cast of characters who are likable and who have backstories that are so fleshed out, you end up caring about these characters. It also has a well-executed time-traveling mechanic, which allows you to get to see the kingdom at various points in time. And it also has a very strategic battle system where you have to consider the positioning of the enemies, and you have the ability to combine attacks between team members. Overall, it's an immersive experience. Before we get to number 1 and 2, I want to go over some honorable mentions. These are games that barely missed being in this top 10, and these are in no particular order. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time.
It's like the arcade game version of it. That's pretty fun to play. You ever play the Turtles games?
Super Mario Kart.
Ah, yep. Super Mario Kart.
Secret of Mana.
Right.
Donkey Kong Country. Super Castlevania 4. Final Fantasy 2, which is Final Fantasy 5 everywhere else.
Right.
Super Mario All-Stars. Street Fighter 2 Turbo Hyper Fighting.
Yeah. I had a day Street Fighter 2 player back in the day. Street Fighter 2, Mortal Kombat.
Number 2 is Super Mario World. This game came packed with the SNES when it launched in America, and many consider it the best 2D Mario ever made.
Yeah, not for Yoshi first came in. Super Mario World.
Not everybody agrees with that, but many do. It keeps a lot of the core mechanics of the previous 2D Marios, but it attempts a ton of new things, and it succeeds with just about every single one of them. And here are some of those new things. You can now find giant switches that can make blocks appear in other stages. There's now checkpoints. You can now run up the side of walls. There are now ghost house stages, and some of the stages in the game now have more more than one exit. And perhaps the most enjoyable thing is that you can now ride on the back.
Yeah, a couple of stages had some hidden exits that were hard to find. But when you find them, they were pretty fun. Give like bonus stages you can do, or alternate rounds instead of just following the main one.
Of a Yoshi. So the game just ends up giving you a lot of fun things to do. And while you're doing them, you get serenaded with some wonderful music, which will have you humming it even when you're not playing. Number 1 is The
Here we
Legend
go,
of
here we go.
Zelda: A Link to the Past.
This one does not surprise me. This Zelda game was a big hit back in the day. In fact, they even made this a few times on different platforms too.
I bet you didn't see that one coming. On the internet, you will find a tremendous amount of positive testimonials about this game. And those testimonials are not just from people who played the game when it came out, but it's also from adults who played it in later years. One of the most common words used to describe this Zelda is epic. It models its gameplay off the original Legend of Zelda for the NES, but it does it better. The design of the overworld compels you to explore every corner of it because it's so densely packed with secrets. You'll be closed off from large portions of it at first, but as you find new items and abilities, it becomes a much bigger and bigger playground. People also dig the design of the dungeons. Each one has a drastically different feel, but they don't overstay their welcome and they don't meander too much. The graphical presentation turned a lot of heads when it came out, and it's still pleasant on the eyes when you play it today. In my opinion, this game and the other games on this list represent the peak of 2D greatness in gaming. So I hope you enjoyed this list. I have done a lot of other top 10 list videos, and I'll have links to those in the description.
What did you think of that? You guys enjoy that?